I might run it. I don't like this shirt. I might run and change it. Go ahead. Go start.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies, oh so bright. Join us for a blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop Culture Kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. Sit for everyone. I brought some for everyone. Pop Culture Kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone.
It's Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Oh, there it is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday night, and this is Pop Culture Kids coming to you from the North and the South. Me from North Carolina, Kenny from South Jersey. Welcome,
All of a sudden, I
welcome,
can't hear you.
welcome. How are you, my brother? You
There
can't
you go.
hear me? Uh-oh. You
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm good.
okay?
I'm good.
Because
I'm
I was
good. I'm
going to say
good.
you just heard me
How are you? How are you?
a few minutes ago, and I know I started off on
Yeah, I
mute.
know. I know.
Cousin
Hey,
Lisa,
Lisa,
how
what's
are
going
you?
on?
All right, it is Sunday night, and we do what we do, and we talk all things pop culture. Tonight's topic, do you want to go to the topic or start with news, or I don't know. What do you need to start with? How are you? How are you, my brother? Because I know it's been a rough week being back in the office and that whole kind of thing. So,
Sorry about that. It's my second week back in the office, and it was kind of rough. And the other day, we had a retirement party for somebody on Friday. So a lot of people got to see each other who haven't seen each other in like 5 years or so.
wow.
So it was like an old whole week thing going on. So I was given a really good compliment
Which was?
because I had my hat on and everything. I looked at my own self and I had my jewelry on and everything. This woman who worked with us that didn't know me, her and her husband walked, and she goes, "You look like you're somebody important because it looks like a lot of things are centered around you." I was like, "I'm not retired, and I'm just here like everybody else. I'm just Jappo at work, just another freaking observer. Don't worry about me. I'm good." And she's like, "No, you have this energy about you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice of you to say. But baby, don't talk too bad about me. Don't talk too good about me because your husband's sitting right here, and I don't need to be fighting nobody tonight. I'm just saying, don't don't let's not do that. Let's not do that." And I don't poop where I eat. So you know, here you
I
go.
had I
But in any event, but in
in
any
any event.
event, being back in the office is a very trying time for everybody.
Mm,
So it's a lot of people back in there who feel like we don't need to be back in there because we got just as much or even more done at home.
wow.
Because the whole getting up in the morning and transmuting thing and everything like that. To get there, I could be sitting at home doing work
Mm-hmm.
while I'm driving in here.
So, and again, from the pandemic, because a lot of people found that they could be just as productive, if not more productive, at home. And again, cutting down that time for your commute. You're, and again, you are processing files, getting more done. Just being able to roll out of bed, get started, get working.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
especially if you're a person who's, brain is more active in the morning, you can get more done. And
I get more done before I even brush my teeth at home than I could do at work.
yeah,
And I'm
I
just
know.
like,
And
oh.
it's where I guess, and maybe in education, it was a much harder road to kind of get the work done, because you actually need the kids in front of you. And I'm sorry,
Yeah,
although
yeah.
I think there are some benefits to online learning. I know for myself, I don't even think I could take a class, or even the classes I have done online. I don't think I've been as successful as in person, but that's because everybody
Right.
learns in a different way.
I
So I
don't
know I
think I
kind of
don't
need
think
that.
I could I don't think I can online learn as
Yeah.
much as in person learn. I remember people tell me when I learned my bass, while you're getting a bass teacher, you can learn that stuff by going online and watching some. And I've done that, and I've
Hmm.
learned one or two things, but I learned more from having a live teacher.
Yeah.
than and even my live teacher, one time I couldn't make it out to him, and we had online session, and it's like, you know what?
It's not the
You,
same.
yeah, you live a little further than but I'm gonna have to come to you. I don't care if it's a 40-minute ride or not. I'm
Right.
gonna have to come to you because I like that better than us looking through a computer and me doing it because I up close I can see your hands actually moving and know what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing, and it's better. It's just a better experience. So
I hear
you
you.
know,
I hear you. All right. Well, let's
um,
start our show as we always start our show.
let's start a show with pop culture news. And first, we have the Avengers Doomsday. There was a full release of the cast of Avengers Doomsday. Now, for nerds, that is a big thing. They told you who was going to be in the movie Doomsday because, as we all know, or as I've said before, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the Avengers, but not as Iron Man, as Doctor Doom, which I'm really not a big fan of.
Hmm.
I know when they did the reveal at one of the Comic Cons a couple of years ago or last year, whatever, everybody was and I was like, y'all can find somebody new to do this. You got to go back into that same old trash can barrel that you have over there. So I love Robert Downey Jr. However, so the whole Doomsday cast, and there's some people that are noticeably absent from this cast. Doctor Strange Cumberbatch, he's not in the listing in Doomsday.
Hmm.
The woman who plays She-Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, who played the Hulk, they're not listed as being in Doomsday. Captain Marvel is not listed as being in Doomsday. So there's some people missing from here. I'm like, hmm. Like the strongest people, you got Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and two Hawks, and you're not using the
Well,
strongest people you got.
I thought Anthony Mackie wasn't announced.
And Anthony Mackie is in it as Captain America.
I'm sorry. You said Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Who
uh,
played Captain Marvel?
Brie, um,
Oh, Brie Larson.
Brie Lawson.
Okay.
Brie Lawson is not in there. The young lady who played Miss Marvel is not in it. The young lady
Okay.
who played Photon is not in it. And I think that's kind of strange because the way they have X-Men in it, and the
Hmm.
last time you see the Marvels with Photon and Captain, um, Photon, the character of Photon went to another dimension where the X-Men were there. So it's kind of weird. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how it's going to work out. But Marvel I feel like Marvel needs a win because ever since Endgame, they have been very, to me, kind of lackluster. They have
Well,
had some good movies. Yeah,
well,
man.
I think a lot of people feel like Endgame was just like the title suggested. Endgame, it was kind of like the all out, and you know
Like
that
you could have
was it.
stopped with Endgame and not did another Marvel movie.
Right. But again, if there's money to be made, and I'm sure there's more comic books and more lore to
Well, yeah,
explore,
there's tons.
y-
There's
you know,
tons.
that they are going to dip in that pot and take people's money.
All right. So our next story is we always like to hear stories from the past and people talk about things from the past. And one of the greatest shows that they're still running now that we remember as kids, as Gen Xers, and we saw the beginning of it, is Saturday Night Live. Bill Murray is on one of his
Well,
current because he has a
and
new movie out.
just think about that. I mean, this year they're celebrating the 50th
50th.
anniversary of Saturday Night Live, and well, I remember being so young I couldn't stay up late to watch it, and
Yeah.
even when I would try to stay up and watch it, I just I just didn't have that muscle. I couldn't stay up that late.
And here's the thing about it. Back in those days, there was no YouTube. There was no social media.
Hmm.
So if you missed the original show, you missed
You
it.
missed the show. That was
You missed
before
the show.
VHS too, because
Yeah.
there was a time in the 90s where you didn't have to be home for must-see TV because you could record it and watch it later.
Yeah.
But again, you just had to make sure nobody spoiled it for you at the water cooler the next morning
Yeah.
at work or at
Exactly.
school.
But Bill Murray tells a story about how everyone in the original Saturday Night Live cast loved to make Gilda Radner laugh. Gilda Radner is a comedian, actress comedian who passed away early in life, way too early from cancer. And Gilda Radner was hilarious. She was hilarious. Um, they used to like to make her laugh, and everyone loved to make her laugh, he said, because she would always laugh so hard that she would pee herself. And she was one of those people who had this great infectious laugh that they would just love to make her laugh because, and it's
Now,
just a funny story about someone that you've never heard a bad story about. You've never heard a bad story about, oh, Gilda Radner was such a bitch when I met. You've never heard that story.
but now, do you know where the reporting from this came from? Because Because I
Um,
know Bill Murray did an interview this week on Howard Stern. I did not hear it, and I know
I don't,
usually when Howard
I
Stern
didn't
sits down
know.
and talks to people, he gives them like a good 2 to 3 hours almost. So I was
Yeah,
just
I
wondering
heard. Yeah.
if that was one
No,
of the
I don't.
stories that came
I
up.
forgot. I should have wrote down the source, and I forgot the source. I
Okay,
read
because
it,
I
and
didn't listen to the interview or I haven't heard the interview yet, but I'd be curious to know if that was one of the stories he told. All right, what else we got in the news?
Dairy Queen is selling blizzards for 85 cents for 2 weeks from March the 24th through April the 6th. You can get a blizzard for 85 cents. Why? Why, Kenny? Why can you get a blizzard for 85 cents? Well,
They're
because Dairy
85
Queen
years
is selling.
old.
Yeah, just take the thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why?
Take,
Why,
take
Kenny?
the thunder.
Why can you get a blizzard for 85 cents?
No, because they're 85 years old. Damn it. Damn
I
it.
mean, that's a gimme, but that's, kind of nice. I don't even know where Dairy Queen is.
There's one here in.
I think there might be a Dairy Queen in Statesville. I gotta check that out.
I thought there
Although I
was a
probably
Dairy
shouldn't be
Queen.
giving my location out on the
Yeah,
interwebs, but
yeah, you
hey.
shouldn't. But it is now. Now they know you're in Statesville,
Now,
North Carolina.
because before it
I'm
was
in
just
Morristown, New Jersey. Yeah.
North
So, but
Carolina.
and I believe in Turnersville, New Jersey, near me. There's like a
Mhm.
40-minute drive, but there is a Dairy Queen, and I remember. I think there's a Dairy Queen somewhere else near here
40
too.
minute drive. That's not near you.
Well, in Jersey, it's
Everything is 30 to 40 minutes away.
yeah, 30, 40 minutes, 30 minutes away, 35, depending on traffic. It could be 45, could be 30, all depending on the weather.
Well,
There's
85
one near
cent
Lisa.
blizzards. I don't think I've ever had a blizzard. That's how lap, l- you know.
We had blizzards when we were kids living in Lawnside.
Oh, we did?
Snow blizzards, real
Oh,
blizzards.
I don't know.
I'm trying here.
All right. What you got?
Okay, so as we know, it was March Madness, and you had all the tournaments, and the NCAA tournament was being paid. And this is a nice, beautiful story, and I put this on the list. Paige Buchers would make breakfast for UConn teammate Jana El Alpha during Ramadan. Of course, during Ramadan is a Muslim religion, is a time of year, and when you're Muslim, you can eat at certain times, and she would have to eat before 5 a.m., I believe, or before the sunrise, and and so her teammate, in support of her Muslim friend, in support of her Muslim, she would get up and make the meal for her in the morning. And this hits me because, and one of the reasons, because last week I was hosting my open mic, and it was a young lady who was Muslim who was reading um, poetry, and she read a poem that had profanity in it. But because, and she explained to me later, because it was Ramadan, she edited her poem. But then
So
she told me next month Ramadan is off, so it's on. You want to see my full work? And I'm like, okay, I'm here
okay.
for it. Let's
Now,
go.
what is the thing with Ramadan? She can eat, but she can't cook, or is that
She can't eat, and during sun, I believe. Okay, I'm not Muslim, so I don't know for sure.
okay?
But um,
Between
I don't think you
sunrise
can
and
eat.
sunset, they
Since that,
don't
yeah, you
eat.
can't. Yeah, you can't eat
Oh, so she would get up before sunrise to make her.
and make a breakfast
Oh,
for her.
okay, all right, that's very sweet. Okay, next story in pop
So
culture
after
news.
70 years, Johnny Mathis is retiring from stage. He's marks up the age, um, memory, things like that, memory loss and things like that. But Johnny Mathis is finally retiring from stage after 70 years.
How old is he?
And Johnny Mathis, like in his 80s, I believe.
Okay,
And I
wow.
didn't know he was still alive.
Oh no, Johnny Mathis. I saw there's a YouTube channel called Professor of Rock that now is in my feed because I've watched a couple of those videos, and I actually watched. He did an episode on TV theme songs of the '80s. I didn't necessarily agree with some of the choices, but because he
Mhm.
had a lot of instrumentals like Miami Vice and A Team, and I'm like, where was the Facts of Life? Wasn't that in the '80s? But maybe that was the
Yeah.
'70s. I don't
No,
know,
that was
but
the 80s.
I know. I'm like, hello, Facts of Life
I
is
mean, it
like
might have
the
started in the 70s, but it bled over into the 80s.
oh yeah, but
I mean,
anyway,
look at some of the clothes they wore. You knew that was the 80s.
but the one thing they he did an interview with Johnny Mathis, I guess talking about the theme song for oh, what was the TV show? What would we do, baby, without
Yes,
us?
without us.
Um
Family ties.
Family Ties. Oh man, my oh Johnny Mathis
You
is
know why I know
89
that?
years old.
You know why I know that?
Why do you know
Because
that?
I'm a pop culture kid, and that's what we do. Damn it.
Okay, all right. And I should know that. Family Ties. And I think originally there was another singer for the theme song, but I think once the show was picked up or renewed or whatever, they actually had Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams record
Williams,
it.
who
And
were a duo known for
because
singing
they
things
they had
together and
another
whatnot.
song together,
Too
Too
much,
Much,
too
Too
little, too
Little,
late.
Too Late. Ah, see, there you
Ever
go.
try again? Too much, too little, too late.
That one we got.
Yes, it's over.
It's over.
Let's call it a day. Sorry that
Hey,
it
Big
had
Rick,
to
what
end.
is up?
Big
What is
Rick.
up? But Johnny Mathis, he's 89 years old. That's awesome.
Wow.
Johnny
So he's been touring
Mathis
since
is
he
the
was like 18,
man.
19 years old. Yeah. Johnny Mathis, man. So our last story is Corey Feldman claims that Johnny Depp got him off of What's Eating Gilbert Grape by saying that he was a junkie and he doesn't work with junkies. So Johnny Depp was like, "This guy's a junkie. I don't work with junkies."
Ooh,
Where's Leo? Where's Leo?
pot. That's pot. It's the kettle. You're black.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe he's not a
Well,
junkie. I
yeah,
shouldn't throw that out there. I'm sorry, but he
yeah,
just
don't put it out there
he
because
does have that
I
look though that
yeah,
he might partake in
Johnny Depp
some things.
now has that look like he's either a junkie or he's drunk or he's high most of the time.
Yeah.
Now he's high off marijuana, I'm not. That's not a junkie. That's something totally different. Marijuana is a
Although, you
plant,
know,
not
stories
a
like
drug.
this, I kind of feel like, and again, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, did just such an amazing job in that role in that What's Eating
I've never
Gilbert.
seen that movie.
You have never seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Is that something, Rick? Help me out, Rick. Is that something I would have seen? I should have seen. Really? What's
It's
eating Gilbert Grape?
it was a small movie. I just thought it just was very good and had some very powerful performances. Mary Steenburgen was excellent in it. Leonardo DiCaprio, to me, it's one of my favorite performances of his. And it's just one of those, if you're going to call yourself a pop culture kid, it needs to be in your repertoire. It's not
No,
I don't think it wasn't
no.
really, I think, a popular mainstream, movie, but it's,
Rick is like, I was ready to say, wasn't Johnny on drugs?
exactly. That's what I'm thinking about.
I think Johnny was high. He wasn't on drugs. He was high. But then
I'm
didn't
sorry,
Johnny Depp
isn't
hanging around with
marijuana a drug?
No, that's a plant, not a drug. Wasn't Johnny Depp hanging around with River Phoenix and all those guys
Oh, yeah, I think he might have been at the Viper Room,
when River Phoenix passed away?
fateful night, 'cause,
Yeah, I think he
again, all
was.
part of that, Brat Pack, even though Johnny Depp wasn't necessarily in the, Brat
Well,
Pack movies,
that
but
group
he
that that group was after the Brat Pack. That was like
what
the
group?
grunge pack. The
Who,
Johnny
Johnny
Depp,
Depp?
River Phoenix, yeah, Johnny Depp. That was like the time when Nirvana came out. They were like grungy and like edgy. The
Okay.
Brat Pack was more like the guys next door. They were like the rich bad boys, and those guys were like the grunge pack. They were like edgy. Those are the guys that you didn't want your daughter going out with because you knew if your daughter went out and left one of those guys, they wasn't coming home with their panties. But you
That's disturbing.
Bad host, bad host.
Bad
Okay,
host.
so yeah, but Corey Feldman, in my opinion, Corey Feldman is always doing something, looking for new attention.
Oh, yeah. He always sounds a
Corey,
little bit like, yeah, kinda like when he's in the news, it always feels like a look at me" story, and to me, and again, a part of me feels bad for him because, again, as a child actor, I know, he's had some pain and some suffering, and I think child actors tend to be exploited. I feel badly too because I think if they don't have strong parental bonds, then it could go horribly wrong for them a lot of times. And some of the ones who do survive, the Regina Kings, the Leonardo DiCaprios, the ones who come out on the other side, I think usually have the support of some pretty amazing people behind
yeah,
them to help them
they
have an
usually have support of
identity
family.
outside and, again, to help protect them and keep them safe. Because,
Yeah,
again,
but,
I think
you
the
know,
stuff we learned about that whole Nickelodeon thing just, just troubles me, and really, they passed the Jackie Coogan law, or with Jackie Cooper law, to help protect their money, but there
yeah,
needs to be, just some kind of laws or something to just help protect their safety, whether it's just their mental and emotional health
yeah.
as well as their money, so that, they're not preyed upon,
You know what?
or that
And
they
that's
make a transition into, I think Peter Billingsley, who was the little kid from um
a Christmas story.
Christmas Story, was involved at one point with, I think, an organization that was providing that help and that support for those child actors to make that transition. Because
And that's actually an episode that we can do. The child actors that came out, not so much that they came out unscathed, but the child actors that were able to maintain their careers, healthy careers, like Regina King, like Leonardo DiCaprio, like Raven Simone, who were child actors and were able to boom move on, like Keenan Thompson.
to
Keenan
move on.
Thompson's
Oh,
been in the
yeah.
years. He's been in the business for years, and he was part of Nickelodeon set. And this guy is just like uh he's still funny. He's like right now he's the longest person who's been on Saturday Night Live.
Okay. He's on, yeah, he's on the Saturday Night Live retirement plan because he's not going anywhere. I mean,
And he's
how
still
many
he's still
seasons has he
funny.
been on?
I forget. I think 15, maybe. I have to look
Okay.
that up. But
We,
he's
yeah,
been on
we
a lot.
we need to look that up. We don't have Ed who's usually fact checking
Yeah,
for
he's
us.
fact checking for us. But yeah, so like Kenan Thompson and things like that, and I forget how old Kenan Thompson actually is because he is like in his 40s.
Yeah.
But you're used to seeing him as Kenan and Kel and that whole Nickelodeon thing, and you forget that it was like 25 years ago,
Hmm.
and he was a little older then. So here you go. But there are some child actors who were able to make the transition. Um, yeah, yeah. Raven Simone came out kind of unscathed, and she was back, and she was in there when she was like 4 or 5 years old on the Cosby Show,
Oh
and she
yeah.
didn't. She had an old show, That's So Raven, and then then they brought That's So Raven back, and then she did the hosting thing, and she was on the View and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I didn't
So
know she was on the View.
yeah, she was on the View at one point,
Okay.
and so Raven, and then she did the Cheetah Girl thing. A lot of kids like my girls' age, they know from the Cheetah Girls.
Okay.
That was a whole Disney thing they did. They did a couple of movies, the Cheetah Girls, and they were singing, dance, and everything, and they were the Cheetah Girls, and they called themselves the Cheetah Girls, and it was cool. The
That's a
Cheetah Girls
whole
were
era
cool.
I missed. Thank
They
you.
did. They were the Cheetah Girls went to Barcelona one time, and they did the thing at the end. The Barcelona the guys played a horn, and the Cheetah Girls were singing and dancing, and then it was great. It was great. And then the one time they went to India and they did Cheetah Girls in India. Oh man, it was great. It was good. So maybe
Okay, we are not doing a Cheetah Girl show, just so
you're
you
not doing
know.
Cheetah Girls? Okay. All right. All right. All right. So that's all our pop culture news. But Corey Feldman, yes, once again, a child actor who didn't transition well. Right now, he's out doing concerts as white Michael Jackson, and he's doing his thing. He's loving what he's doing.
All right.
But watching it is like it's like you don't want to look, but it's like watching you gotta look. It's like a train wreck where I don't want to see this train wreck. Wait
You
a
know,
minute, what's
I
going on over
watched speaking of Michael Jackson, just to throw this tangent and then we'll get back on track eventually. Uh, I like this comment from Rick. It just says, Kathy, get your brother. Um, Lord, if only I could. And I
there?
can obviously, if you watch this podcast, watch us on Sunday nights or listen, you realize that I have
Rick, you know
absolutely
me
no
since I was
control.
11 years old. You know I can't be got. You know people can't. You know I'm out there.
But hey, you mentioned Michael Jackson, and I just wanted to say that oh gosh, if I can get out words. I watched the podcast, a YouTube video with these gentlemen. I think it's called You'll Hear This, where they actually did a breakdown of not Thriller, but Off the Wall and what made it such a great album and the different tracks. It reminded me a little bit of our Songs in the Key of Life episode where we kind of broke that down, but they were breaking it down from a musical standpoint, and they usually do jazz and jazz musicians, but they were just talking about this composition. Plus, they played an instrumental, really jazzy version of "Can't Help It." If I wanted to, couldn't help it, even
Wow.
if I could. And I didn't realize that was written by Stevie Wonder, but just so many songs that were written by like Rod Temperton, and
Yeah.
it was actually a pretty good episode. I would recommend. I might even throw it back and put it in the show notes and direct people
I,
to
I
it because
think
I thought
I
it was
think
worth the watch.
I think Off the Wall was Michael Jackson's solo career was already there before Off the Wall
Mm.
because he already kind of separated himself from the Jackson Five, and even when he was with the Jackson Five, he did solo things. But I think Off the Wall set him up for that King of Pop status.
Well, it was his
That
first solo project with Epic Records, as opposed to I think when he did solo things under Motown. He was still under that kind of Motown umbrella and under that machine, but this was one where he had a little more autonomy because even Epic Records didn't want Quincy Jones as the producer because at the time, Quincy Jones produced people like, Ella Fitzgerald
Yeah,
and Frank Sinatra and Count Basie, and they were thinking, oh, more of a jazzy kind of big band sound, not a pop or R&B kind of sound.
yeah.
But the collaboration
Because
was definitely
that's
fire.
what Quincy Jones was known for hanging out with, Ray Charles, a lot of jazz people, older people, and that's what Quincy Jones is known for. So them having those reservations, but Michael was a good businessman, and he was. There's one of the things him and Prince didn't get along too well, but it was one of the things they had in common musically. You couldn't just throw something at them musically that was half-assed because Michael would break things down,
Mm.
and he was a master of breaking things down
That
musically.
that's why you should listen to this podcast because they actually play like a track that I forgot which of the songs from Off the Wall it is, but he actually made it like in his home studio, and you can just hear him like kind of working it out, which I'm like, wow, it was really well done, and just you mentioned Michael Jackson, although the thought of Corey Feldman doing his version of Michael Jackson little scary, but
Oh
the
man,
original.
Corey
Oh, you
Feldman
know what today
has the
is?
hat. What
Hey,
is today?
is it March 30th, the anniversary of the release of Purple Rain? I saw that posted up on
I
social
I
media.
don't remember, and I should know that, and I do not remember.
You should know
That album
that.
exploded Mike's and Quincy's career into the '80s. Yes,
Oh,
Rick, I believe
definitely.
you. I'm all about that, Rick. You know what? It's halfway through, and I think you got to do an announcement, and then we should get onto our list.
All right, we will get on to our list. But before that, we just want to thank you for hanging out with us. It's Pop Culture Kids, something we do every Sunday night. We record our podcast live here with you on YouTube. And since you are on YouTube watching us, it's Pop Culture Kids. Give us a thumbs up, if you will. We'd appreciate it, as well as subscribe. And even better, if you can share this to your social media feed so folks can find us and kind of hang with us on a Sunday night like you guys do. We appreciate you so much. You can always check us out at kathyandkenny.com, and there you'll find our weekly or semi-weekly or at least twice monthly blog posts that, well, okay, maybe not twice monthly, but when we do, blog post articles that are a quick 2-minute read. And again, just everything pop culture, we're going to try to put on that site. If there's something you want to see on that site, let us know. It's kathyandkenny.com, spelling it all with a K. But like I said, we appreciate you hanging out with us on a Sunday. All
If
right.
you want to see, if you want to see pictures of me modeling on that site with my shirt off, I don't like doing that kind of thing. But if I get enough people asking for it, I will model with my shirt off. Just to give you something to look at. I'm okay with that. I will take one for the team. Just if
Okay.
anybody's asking.
Bless your heart. All right. So it was July 27th, 1984. And again, I might have saw something posted like, you know, or reposted from Facebook. But they put March 30th for some reason. And I don't know whether that was maybe a tour date or something. I don't know. But it was just
You know,
a picture of Prince in a Revolution. That's why I thought it was Purple Rain.
I want to say something. You just said, "Bless your heart." I was saying how did I tell you the story? Did I say the story about how I went to the open mic and the person that was a feature reading was from the South, was from Alabama, and they were saying how "bless your heart" doesn't mean what you think it means down south. It means
Oh, I
it
know what
means
it
straight.
means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Because a
up here,
lot of
you would
times
think,
when
but down south,
pe-
I say, "Oh yeah, I
a
know
lot of
that
times
one."
when people say, "Oh, you do a podcast with your brother," and I was like, "Yeah, I do it with my brother." And, oh, bless his heart. So that's what it be.
I know what it means. So tonight we are talking about
That might be what it mean. Okay.
Kathy, get your brother. So tonight we're talking about movie party scenes. So movies that have great party scenes and memorable party scenes in them. And some of these movies, most of these movies I've seen, some of these movies I haven't seen. And they came up with a list, and when I talked to other people, these are great party scenes. So we're going to start off with one of Kathy's favorites, Euro Trip.
I don't know why I like this movie. I don't know why
Scotty
I
doesn't
do.
know.
I don't
Scotty
know
doesn't
why I like
know.
this movie. It's just
I saw
really
this
weird.
movie. I saw this movie once, maybe,
You saw it once? I think I own this movie. It is
and I don't even
silly.
remember. I don't remember the movie. I saw it once.
It's stupid. It doesn't have too many
No,
redeeming
no.
values, but for some reason, and again, the party scene, yeah, it's probably blasphemous and everything else. It's just stupid. It's a teen
Yeah.
comedy on steroids, and for some reason, I don't know,
Rick,
it
Rick,
appeals to me.
Rick,
But
don't give
one
up.
of the
Don't give away
best
the top on
scenes
this, Rick.
is the big party scene at the
The
at the
beginning.
beginning where a band comes on, and of course, I mean, in an uncredited cameo, the lead singer of the band is Matt Damon in this
Matt
very
Damon.
punk looking 90s outfit, and the song is Scotty Doesn't Know. And it turns out it's about the protagonist of the movie. Scotty doesn't know that his girlfriend is basically cheating on him, and she soon breaks up with him, which kind of sparks the whole movie. And again, stupid, silly. I think I can call Euro Trip a guilty pleasure. And you know what?
And the girlfriend is played by Kristen Cruick, who is, as everyone knows, is Lana Lang on Smallville, who's
Okay,
very
something I didn't
pretty.
know. You
Yeah,
say
yeah.
like everyone knows. I'm like, I have
Well, I'm
never
a
watched
nerd
the
and I know
episode of
that, but
Smallville.
no, no, she's on all. It's not just one. She's like Lana Lang on Smallville. She's on every season, just about, except for one or two of them. And she has this very girl next door image on Smallville. And I think she did this at a time where I guess she was trying to break away from that image because in this movie she was like a slut. She was Scotty's girlfriend. She was a slut. So Scotty didn't know that his girlfriend with this girl next door image was being slutty with the band leader who's singing Scotty doesn't know. So there you go. Next we have The Great Gatsby, which I've never seen,
Now, are you talking
but
about
it's
the most recent? Because I think there was an older
there was
movie
two.
called The Great
I
Gatsby
was
with
trying
Robert.
to watch. I was trying to watch them yesterday, but you had to pay to see both of them. And
The Leonard DiCaprio version.
the Leonardo DiCaprio version and the Robert Redford version, you had to pay to see both of them, and I'm not about that life.
And you know, I remember reading The Great Gatsby. Actually, it was weird. In my like late 20s, I went through
Yeah,
this phase of reading a lot of the books that in high school and in college that I was, I guess, supposed to read, or either and a lot of them I did read, but I really didn't remember them, or at least I was
yeah,
able to read them with kind of a new lens. And I know The Great Gatsby was one of them that I had to kind of, I wanted Fahrenheit 451. There were like several
yeah.
books that are on
The
that.
Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby is one of those books that is if it's not in your high school list, it's going to
Hmm.
be in your college list.
Yeah.
So at some point you're exposed to the great, because I remember reading the Great Gatsby in high school and I don't remember any of it.
I know, and that's what I was feeling like. And again, especially during the time when I did have a daily commute and on public transportation, when living in New York, it was like the only thing that saved you on the train is just put your Walkman on, yeah, have the right cassette, and then uh and have your book or something to read so that you didn't have to make eye contact. Is that sad? But I
That
guess
is
now
sad.
everybody's head is just in the phone. But my thing is, how do you
Yeah.
get reception down there on the subway? But that's another
Well,
story for another
it's just
time.
another story. Yeah. Next we have Superbad.
You know what?
Superbad with
I think
McLovin.
I think I saw this movie once because I knew it was pretty big at the time it came
Yeah,
out,
Superbad is hilarious.
and it, just the way like that Euro trip is like a stupid, senseless like uh comedy, and I think like Superbad was supposed to be the same thing, but I just didn't find it funny. I mean, there were
I
moments.
thought Superbad was hilarious. Okay, there's a couple of parties in Superbad. The one party scene is where they go to this party to get some liquor because they're underage kids and they're trying to impress these girls by getting liquor. This guy tells them, "I could take you to this place to get some liquor." And yeah, yeah, yeah. But the guy gets there and come to find out the guy is not a popular person at this party. And the one of the guys is dancing with this girl at the party because the girl, he's like a high school kid, and this girl just starts dancing up on him, so he thinks he's doing something, but it's that time of the month for the girl. She's dancing up
I
on
don't
him.
even think I want to know where this story goes, but
Yeah,
I'll leave you
but
to it.
he has I think he has a tampon and like a red stain on his leg because this woman was dancing up on him. And when the girl's boyfriend says, "Well, you danced with my girl," he couldn't deny it because he had the tampon and everything on him, and he had the blood stain. Hey, Scooby Life, how you doing? And then the other part is when they actually get to the party that they wanted to go to, and he thinks that he has to be drunk to impress this girl, and he winds up bumping into her with his head and blacking her eye and knocking her down, which is an awesome fail. So Superbad had a couple party scenes in it. Superbad's like just for the McLovin alone, because kid gets a fake ID and he gets one name on his fake ID, which was McLovin. That was his fake ID.
I just and like I said, I remember watching it, but I don't know. Even though it is that like silly humor, and I know there's a place for that, that ridiculous kind of mindless laugh, which hey, like I said before, Euro trip, totally stupid, but totally funny. But for me, I don't know. Superbad did
Superbad
not.
didn't do it for you.
It did not
Didn't do
do
it
it
for you.
for me. Mm-mm.
Maybe this next one will do it for you. Road Trip.
No.
Road trip. Road trip. Okay, the party scene in Road Trip is there's a bunch of white guys making a road trip because this guy made a mistake by making a video and cheating on his girlfriend in this video and sending the wrong video to his girlfriend, and he trying to get across country to intercept this video of him cheating on his girlfriend before she can see it. So these guys take a road trip, and in taking the road trip, they stop at this fraternity, and it happens to be an all black fraternity. And the one guy says he's part of this fraternity. He doesn't realize it's an all black fraternity. He goes in, and with the one guy who smokes weed all the time, they go in, they do the fraternity, and this the one guy passes out at one point because he's scared of all these black guys. And he wakes up and he's in the party. He's getting drunk. He's dancing around. They give him stuff to drink. They tell him not to drink so much. He's dancing around. He winds up hooking up at this party, and they're doing the line dances. And the white guy, the skinny white guy, gets in the line dances with getting the step dance with the fraternity. This movie is hilarious. And he winds up going to bed with a black woman that is like twice his size because he's like this thin, and it's just. And then they get in the bus and they're going on the road trip. They got a bus. They go and he pulls this girl's panties out, and he's this big thing of like cheetah panties, like these big like 10 size panties on this girl. And at the end of the movie, he winds up taking this girl home to his dad. It's just a great movie. It's a great movie.
And I know.
Next we hit what?
Okay, yeah, I
Great.
know a movie like Euro Trip kind of came out after Road Trip was kind of fashioned after it too, but yeah, I don't know whether I really watched Road Trip.
Next
Oops,
we have
pull my pop
next we
culture
have
card.
you know what? Tracy Williams, that is a good one. And I don't know if we had that on our list, but that is a good one. I do remember that one. Next we have The Best Man. The Best Man, they're having a bachelor party. Dude wrote a book.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
and they're having a bachelor party now. The one dude, the one brother, there's about four guys who are all friends. Now the one guy has a controlling girlfriend, and he's getting drunk because he's away from his controlling girlfriend. So he's drunk, and the dancer starts dancing on him, and he's like, "Oh, I love you," because he's all drunk, and this girl's dancing on him. So now after he gets sobers up, now he wants to get the girl number, take her home. Dude, she's a stripper. Know your lane. But you married the stripper in the next edition of the movie. I don't know what's up with you, but still, you did it. Anyway,
The Best Man.
the
I
main
enjoyed that
star is the
movie. It
football
was good.
player, and he realizes from reading the book that his best man, his boy, slept with his wife back in the college days.
Or wife to
And
be.
he beat his ass. Like
But
hanging over the
again,
balcony, beating his ass.
but
I don't know how he lived.
but my problem was, were they a, an item back in the college days? So like, how
Yeah.
does? But,
Yeah, they were item.
but
His
if they weren't,
girlfriend
if
found
they
out.
were on again, off again, I mean, oh well.
No, well, his girlfriend found out they were an item,
Okay.
but he was a ladies' man back in his college days. He was a football player, and all the women loved him. He was a good-looking guy, and his girlfriend found out that he had cheated on her while he was on the road playing football in college. So found out he was cheating. She went to his boy crying that, oh, he cheated on me. And then they started making out, and the next thing you know, you sleeping with your boy's girl, which is a no-no, which is something you should get your ass beat for.
But it was
You
still
don't sleep
good.
with your boy's girl.
It's still a good
You don't
movie.
sleep
I
with your
love The Best
yeah.
Man.
Oh, the best man is great.
I
You
wasn't
know what
crazy
scene I
about The
love?
Best Man Holiday only because the sad ending, but spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
I like that too. But you know what? What cracked me up in a best man when they went to the wedding and Mertz breaks up with his girlfriend, and the new girl comes up, and he takes her in, and the other guy Q goes, "You want to pick that up for you?" And she goes, "What?" He goes, "Your jaw," and walks.
Oh
Yo,
yes.
that's cool. That's some things I would do. That's something I would do. Next, we have weird science.
You always got to get Weird Science in there. That's just
Weird
one of your
science
favorites.
is
I don't care what
Weird
we're
Science
talking about.
is one of the greatest movies ever made. When I met Anthony Michael Hall, I said, when I met Anthony Michael Hall at Comic Con, I said, dude, I know everybody's coming up to you talking about 16 Candles. I know everybody's coming up to you talking about The Breakfast Club. My movie was Weird Science. That movie was and he started laughing and looked at me and shook my hands like, "Oh man!"
And then
And he
how
started
fast did he
laughing.
walk away? Like, what the
No,
hell is wrong with this dude?
well, he was at the booth. He laughed, and
Oh, so he
Michael
was
Hall laughed.
trapped.
You know
He
what?
couldn't get away.
You know what? It wasn't like that. So Terry House was the best. Um, but yeah, so Weird Science. The first party they go to, she takes us to a bar. And because she's out, she wants to have a party. She takes them to the bar, gives them fake ID, give them fake suits and everything, and they sit there and they drink it for the first time. They get drunk, and next thing you know, they sit there listening to blues, and they snap their fingers. They hanging out with all the brothers and everything like that. And I'm gonna tell you about this eighth grade. I was really in love with it, man. She had to do really. He's called on a telephone 2 times a night. Telephone, man, telephone. Explain it to him. Explain it to him. The best. And then the actual party that they had at their house, it was just like wild kids out everywhere and yada yada yada. And then they try to make another Lisa, and everything goes crazy in the house. And the one part that gets me is the girl playing piano. Now you see everything's going crazy. You're not that into the piano that you don't understand that everything leaving the room out the thing, and then all of a sudden your clothes strip off, and then you go out the chimney too. Now, at some point, you wanted everybody to see your naked behind go out the chimney because you knew what was happening. You looking all surprised at the last minute, at the everything in the room. Number one,
I think
Why was you
Tracy's a weird
playing?
science fan as well.
Yes. Why number one, why was you playing the piano like that? Why was you playing classical piano in the middle of a party like that anyway? Why? You needed to get swept up into the chimney. But then they had that big party. The house was a mess. Lisa fixed it the next day. It was great because Weird Science is like the best movie. The next one we have is Animal House.
And
Animal
I
House
didn't
is a
realize
movie.
Weird Science was. I'm sorry, I know you're ready to go on the Animal House, but I didn't realize Weird Science was a John Hughes movie. Because again,
Oh
most
yeah,
people think John Hughes, they think 16 Candles, and I know we're going to get to
yes.
that, but, or, or some of the other classics, but yeah, Weird Science, right up John Hughes'
Um.
alley. Go ahead. Animal
Yeah.
House.
Animal House is the next one we have here, and I've never seen Animal House. I'll be honest with you. I've never seen Animal House.
And that's one of those movies too where, and I know it was extremely popular. I have maybe seen it once, and like I said, just kind of like super bad. It, it didn't work for me. I didn't really get it. I didn't make the connections, and
Yeah, I've
even
never
though
seen Animal.
even though I do have the capacity to enjoy slapstick, silly humor. Oh, I love Stripes. That's the fact, Jack. But for some reason, even though it's a classic and it's iconic, it just never connected
Yeah,
to me. So it
it never
wasn't one of
connected
those
with me.
movies where I needed like Better Off Dead for some reason, and maybe it's
Oh,
because it
that's
was
a
on cable
classic.
and they kept showing it. But you know
That's a
what?
classic though.
I connected to the humor, and it just it was
That
funny. It was a little dark, but I enjoyed
look
it
at
and I could
look at
connect to it.
look at all this snow. Look at the value of this
But
mountain.
But for some reason, and I know everybody loves Animal House, and maybe I'm missing something in chat. You could tell me what about it I'm missing. And I love John Belushi just as much as the next guy. I'm probably more a fan of his work in as far as the movies. I kind of like Blues Brothers, but if you think about it, he didn't have that much. It wasn't. He wasn't doing a lot of slapsticky stuff in Blues Brothers.
You
And
notice, I read a story this week
Mhm.
about Blues Brothers.
Oh, okay. What about it?
They had so much drugs on the set of
Mm.
Blues Brothers that John Belushi, who was known for doing a lot of drugs, one time they couldn't find John Belushi to film, and they filmed it in a regular neighborhood. And John Belushi had went off set, got high, went into a stranger's house, made himself a sandwich, and fell asleep on the guy's couch. So when they knock on the doors looking for John Belushi, they're like, "Have you seen?" And the guy, this old guy, goes, "Oh, you mean that guy asleep on my couch?" And
Oh
John
wow.
Belushi was drugged out and slept on the couch. And there's a story that Eddie Murphy said that he was hanging out one time at a comedy club, I guess, and John Belushi and Robin Williams were there, and they were doing cocaine, and then they offered Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy was like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I might smoke some weed, but I'm not getting that heavy into like the drug thing with you guys." So, that was you know what? I have a thing against Medea movies, Lisa. So I do.
Kitty is so anti Tyler Perry. I
It's
don't
not that
think you will
I'm just look.
ever see a Tyler Perry movie on one of Kenny's lists. Because again, even though Pop Culture Kids, we both talk about the movies, Kenny usually comes up with the list. I come up with the visuals. I'm a little short to this week with visuals, but I'm pushing the buttons, so that's why. But
I want to say something about something Tracy said earlier. Tracy Williams said earlier, "Revenge of the Nerds," and I
oh,
don't have that
revenge.
on the list. And Revenge of the Nerds had classic party scenes, like the scene where the nerds um, party with the Lammermoose, who wanted an attractive sorority, but they're partying and Booker's like dancing with these Lammermoose, and he's like, "Oh, I'm having a good time," and he's like, girls are not very attractive, but dancing with Booker, and Booker's picking his nose and dancing with these girls, and then they had this big party one time to save money, to raise money for their hotel that they were staying in, and they do the whole thing. They had the music, and they had the nerds had the best parties. The nerds had the best parties.
Is that the
And you
moral
learned
of the
this.
story?
That's the moral of the story. And I'm a nerd, and I used to have good parties back in the day.
Um, And I definitely am. I think I am an 80s nerd. Uh, and again, with Revenge of the Nerds. And that was one of those movies where, you know what? You had lightning in the bottle the first time, but man, when they kept coming out with sequels and different variations, it was like too much, too much. Lisa saying, and the party scene and waiting to exhale, the scene in Jamaica took a wild turn
I
too.
have never totally seen Waiting. I've seen scenes from Waiting to Exhale.
Oh my
I've never totally
gosh,
seen Waiting to
it's
Exhale.
classic.
I did see the scene. I did see the scene where she burned the car.
Of course. Oh, that's just
And
a
I've learned
cautionary
that
tale.
I've
Every
learned
black
that when
man
I
needs to
date,
see that so he know what to do.
yeah, I've learned that when I date black women, do not piss them off because I could lose some.
You could lose. Definitely. Oh my goodness.
I get it. Look, listen, look. I'm not even gonna go into that. Next, we have 16 Candles.
Mm.
The Donner. Everybody knows the Donner in 16 Candles. The Donner had a good time at the party. Tracy is Rick's wife, and I
Okay.
guess I met Tracy before. Yeah, Tracy's Rick's wife, and she's an '80s nerd.
Best
But
decade.
The Donner, um, I said haircut. What was that? What was I doing with my haircut?
I don't know. These are your notes. It says a
Nerd.
haircut nerd boys knock over cups.
I don't know what haircut means. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, the Donner nerd boys knocked down because the nerd guys coming to the party, and then they sit there and lean against and knock down all the cups of the big guys, and then look over and the one guy goes, the other nerd looks at the one guy and goes, "You see this? I can't take you anywhere," and walks away. Yeah, it was Anthony Michael Hall. And he's with his buddies, and they all leave, and Anthony Michael Hall actually knocks it over. And he looks at his buddy and goes, "What? I can't take you anywhere. What are you gonna do with these guys?" And he walks away and leaves his friends hanging. And then after the party dies down. He's the only one sober. He talks to the main guy that the girl likes. He sets them up, and it's a whole rapey kind of thing because the guy sits home with his girlfriend. And then haircut is when the girl was very drunk. The girl was very drunk, and her friends cut her hair to get her out of the door.
Oh yes. Tracy's right. Long
Hold on,
long
I'm
duck
gonna, I'm gonna
dong.
help you out. And a drunk girlfriend comes back and cut her hair off, and the other girl's like, cut her hair off, and she goes, "Thank you. I don't know what I do because they're all drunk. I don't know what I do." You ever do something when you're in high school or college and you're so drunk that you wake up the next? One time, I was out with my buddy Leonardus. Rick knows him. We were out in college, and we came back. I woke up in the morning, and there was a phone number on my arm. And I got a phone ring, and Junior goes, "Hey, Kenny, is that phone number on your arm?" And I said, "Yeah, there's a phone number on my arm. There's a number on your arm." He goes, "Yeah. We met these girls, and they put their numbers on their arms." So there's things you do in college and in high school when you're partying too hard and you don't know what you're doing, and you wind up with phone numbers on your arms. You wind up with your hair cut. You wind up with things you didn't know that happened.
So in other words, your life was one big 80s movies party.
Yes, my life was
Party
one big 80s
scene.
movie party. Next, we have Can't Hardly Wait.
Mm. That was more 90s, right? Can't hardly wait.
That was the 90s, and there was a big party at the end. And these two people who can't stand each other, they used to be close in grade school or whatever, and now they're in high school. Long Duck Dong. Yes, Tracy, Long Duck Dong. Long Duck Dong. What's your name? Long. What's your middle name? Duck. What's your last name? Dong.
I flashed
I
that up
bet you
there
all.
like
I bet you
10
all the
minutes
guys go
ago.
crazy for you around here,
I don't
huh?
even know what show he's watching sometimes.
But
Sometimes I
anyway, Can't
wonder.
Hardly
No, go ahead.
Can't Hardly Wait is a '90s movie, and this guy, this nerd, is in love with a girl. Typical '90s movie theme. Guy's in love with a girl, doesn't know he exists. He writes this thing about her and whatnot, and she tells him off at the party because she's this girl that all the guys want to get. And I think that was Jennifer Love Hewitt. And all the guys want to get with her because she's this girl next door that's untouchable that all the guys want. And she's beautiful and she's tired of guys hitting on her all the time because she's beautiful. And I know girls like that. They're beautiful and they're tired of guys hitting them all the time because they're beautiful. Don't stop me. Don't stop me. But anyway, but anyway, um, there's a bathroom scene. Two people who were friends in high school and they kind of they were friends in grade school or elementary school. And when they got to high school, he got cool or thought he was cool and teased her. And now he was too cool to hang out with her. She was still a nerd. And they got locked in the bathroom together. And they wound up doing a nasty in the bathroom after arguing all through the movie and whatnot. The girl has a boyfriend, and her boyfriend's a jock. And she winds up blowing up at him and embarrassing him in front of everybody at the party. There's a nerd at the party that cannot get girls and nobody talks to him. But apparently, he does a karaoke to a Guns N' Roses song, Paradise City, and all of a sudden, all the girls at the party want the nerd. And they're all about the nerd. And there's a makeout room that they're taking turns going to the nerd to the makeout room. And it's take me down to the Paradise City. He gets up and he's partying and taking me down to Paradise City. And all the girls want to go out with him and the nerd now. But then the next day, he's back to being a nerd again and he's not cool anymore. He was cool at the party when he was drinking and everybody else is drunk. Next day, he's back to being a nerd. He's not cool anymore. They don't want anything to do with him. But that's Can't Hardly Wait. That's the party scene for that. Next, we have Footloose.
Now, you always complain about, and I know you say you like the new one better. I did not like it at all. But you always complained about the final scene from Footloose,
Yes.
which is the big dance, because evidently
Yes.
these kids weren't exposed to music. Although you had that whole scene with him teaching, his best friend how to dance. Was it
He
Rusty?
taught his best friend. He taught his best friend how to dance. He didn't teach everybody how to dance. He taught his best. And this is the '80s. They don't have cable TV. They don't have YouTube. They have nowhere they can get this information. But all of a sudden, at the end, the last dance, these kids ain't been able to dance in town for 3 years. All of a sudden, they all know how to break dance. I don't know. They all know how to break dance. How these white kids know how to break dance? I don't know how they know how to break dance. They all know how to break dance. So all of a sudden, they can pop, lock, and everything. I don't know how that happened. So then all of a sudden, they're doing that. And that's what they did. Now, in Footloose 2, there was a reason behind it. There was a story behind it. Footloose 2 is better because they were singing at the drive-in. The black kid had an uncle who owned the drive-in. His uncle would play hip-hop music. These kids were exposed to social media and YouTube. And these kids would, as soon as the cops left, the drive-in guy would play the hip-hop music through the speakers, and the kids would do a circle, and they would all dance and hip hop and everything else. So you knew they knew how to dance. So at the end scene where they're all dancing and they're all doing, you knew where they learned it from. It was obvious. The dancing was even better in the second movie. The first one, I don't know where they learned that from.
You have to suspend some disbelief. It's
No,
it's and
no,
again,
man.
you got this whole movie about this town where no dancing allowed, and the kids, he's fighting and giving the whole speech before the council to, get them quoting the Bible and everything else so that they can have this dance, and they get the dance. So it would be anticlimactic for it not to be this, like the end of Flashdance, like the end of Fame. You got to have a big the big
I
dance number for
I
this
get it.
musical. So,
But
and
it,
but again, like I said, I wasn't a fan of, and maybe that's because I still had those, like, that bad taste in my mouth from the Fame remake, which is why
I think that's what it is.
I didn't make it through the Footloose one, and I was
But
just kinda like,
Footloose
"Eh," the whole
Footloose
time.
2 was more
'Cause I
Footloose
also
was a lot more believable.
'Cause you know what? I think for the Footloose movie, the original Footloose movie, that, there was another, character in the movie that you didn't see, and, I'm not talking about the leads, not the Kevin Bacons or the Chris Penns or Sarah Jessica Parkers or even the John Lithgow and Diane Weiss, as great as they were, but the other, kinda uncredited or maybe credited character was the soundtrack. That movie had an amazing soundtrack. So, again, when it came to the remake, I knew I wasn't gonna get those classic songs, so I kinda was like, "Meh, I can pass." And I think I
Okay.
started
Well,
watching it a couple
you
times, but
did
I
get
didn't
some
make
of
it
the
through.
classic songs in the remake. You did get Let's Hear It for the Boy in the remake. You
Okay.
did get Footloose in the remake. So you did get the classic songs in the
You know what?
remake.
That was one
And
thing I think I enjoyed about the, Beverly Hills Cop, reboot or the
yeah,
Netflix version is that, a lot of the soundtrack from the first movie kinda came back
yeah.
and came back in some key ways, and it just made it a lot of fun.
Tracy, I don't know if we would call Ferris Bueller Days Off the parade scene a quite party scene. It was a party, but and there was a lot of dancing involved. I'm a little up there. I'm gonna allow the mention on that one. Next we have
That would almost go in my show with the musical numbers.
yeah,
Like,
mm,
like the Banana Boat song and Beetlejuice or
yes,
the,
yeah,
Lime in the Coconut in, oh, what's the witch movie? I can't keep
yeah.
thinking of the name
We're
of.
going to actually
Practical
that's going to be our
Magic.
topic. That's going to be our topic next week. We're going to talk about that next week.
Okay.
Next we have Accepted. Have you ever seen
Accepted. Was that
Accepted is a great movie. Accepted is a movie where these kids did not get accepted into the college they wanted to. So they made this is a basically suburban white boys can really get away with that type movie. And they made up their own college. So at one point they have a big party. And of course, there's a fraternity in the neighboring college that wants to, feel like they're superior to these guys and these accepted rejects, and they invade their party because the fraternity at the accredited college, the known college has a big party. Nobody's at the party because everybody's at the party of this new school that's not even accepted, not even legal or nothing. So when everybody's at their party, these fraternity boys come in and try to invade their party, and basically the fraternity boys try to be tough, and they get punked and told to leave. And as they leave, because the party is itself as slamming as it is, and as because they got a concert, they got a band going, they got music going, they got a concert going, they got a DJ and a band. And as they leave, the fraternity boys hit the fire extinguisher, so all the lights and all the water comes down. And they think they ruined the party, but they accept the people are FAFO. They don't care. So the water starts coming down from the fire drills, and they look around, and then one guy hits the mic and goes, "Wet T-shirt party!" And everybody starts. The music comes on, and everybody starts dancing again. And that was accepted, and it was that's really, if you see this is a very good movie. Last but not least, we have one of the famous party scenes of all time, House Party. Kid and Play, Robin Harris, House Party. Robin Harris going through looking for his son with a belt.
that that was some funny
Kid
stuff.
and Play, Martin Lawrence, the bow, and Jabal. And the thing about it is that party scene in the house party. There's a couple of scenes in the house party you're going to always remember. The jail scene, full force being in there bullying him.
Oh, yeah.
But the house
Because
party
Full
scene,
Force used to be like they were just all muscle. But go
It
ahead.
was all muscle. Full Force was like Full Force was like muscle and bad breath. This is Full Force is just like muscle.
Now, how you know they had bad breath? That ain't
I
right.
don't know, but they just look like. But anyway, Full Force is sitting there and they're in the movie, but they're thugs in this movie. They're the gangsters in this movie. They're the bullies in this movie.
Hmm.
But they use the Full Force song, which is one of my favorite Full Force songs ever. Ain't My Type of Hype.
Ain't my type of hype. Oh yeah.
Ain't My Type of Hype is one of the slammingest Full Force songs. And like, there's a lot of other Full Force songs. Full Force was, to me, was one of the most underrated groups of the '80s.
Oh yeah. I really like their work they did with
Oh
Lisa
yeah,
and Cult
oh
Jam
yeah.
and
And what they did with Stevie Wonder, not Stevie Wonder, what they did with James Brown. I'm sorry, James Brown.
okay. Oh yeah.
Have you
James
ever heard
Brown.
Static? Static! No, Static! Don't be no static! No, don't start none. Won't be
Have they
none.
done an
That was Full
unsung for
Force.
Full Force? They need to do an
Yes,
unsung for Full Force because I
yes,
don't well, and again, I
yes.
don't know what they're doing now, whether they are still because I think they took more of a behind the scenes kind of producer approach.
And still, after years, and like the Eddie Murphy joke, you still have to listen to it a couple times to realize what James Brown is saying. Because at one time he goes, we're gonna do static, and you heard static, but he said, listen here. We're gonna run the static and let the music play all by itself. But you have to listen to it a couple times to realize that James is saying that. Because
Hmm.
otherwise, it sounds like we're gonna static, and that's all you hear because you know the song's called Static, so you know Static is somewhere. But Static, no, Static, don't be no Static, no, don't start. But anyway, Full Force did this movie, and they play "Ain't That Type of Hype," and Kid is in the bath in the kitchen, and the two women, what is her name from Martin? I should know her name because she's beautiful, and if I meet her in Hollywood, I'm kicking game. I don't even care if she married. I'm kicking game if I meet her. The woman from Martin that played Gina in Martin.
Tisha Campbell,
Keisha Campbell. Keisha Campbell. Tisha Campbell. If I meet Tisha Campbell person, it's on Tisha. It's on.
even though she's married, but okay. You just said
I don't think she's married now. But if she's married, I'm Kenny Walker. I'm kicking game. Damn that. But anyway, Tisha Campbell and the lady with her, they challenged him to a dance fight. The first guy that Kid uh, dances with, he's too drunk, he can't dance. Then Play comes, taps in, and then they're dancing, they battle, they do the dance battle. And I remember these days, because back in those days when I was hitting the clubs, I would be the guy dance battling and stuff like that. So I remember these days, and then all of a sudden they start dancing together, and then Martin Lawrence the DJ, Bilal, and he just switch, and they switch around, and then Kid is dancing with this girl that he don't want to be dancing with because she's not the most attractive girl in the world. And he's like, Bilal, call switch, and Martin Lawrence is like, and he doesn't call switch in time. She got the Tracy, she got divorced. Oh man, you ain't said nothing but a word.
that's. I
You
keep
ain't said
pulling it
nothing
up,
but a
and I gotta
word.
fix that. Gotta fix that
You ain't
scene.
said nothing but a word. When I become a celebrity, yeah, she's one of her and Janet Jackson. Look out. I'm coming with a vengeance.
I don't think Janet Jackson is divorced. She's married.
I don't think she's married right now.
Yes, yes, Big Rick. Wake up. Wake
And your,
up.
and your school days was wake up.
But you know what? It's for 1 hour once a week. I let Kenny live in his delusion. I mean, I try to, you know. Anyway, listen, we are at way past the hour, so
Way
we want
past
to,
the hour.
yeah, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us on a Sunday as we talk all these movie party scenes. And next week we will be back at you with another pop culture topic. I think you alluded
Next,
to it.
yeah, next week we're going to be talking about
The sing along.
songs. Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about songs that um when you hear them you think of this movie, but they're not the theme song of this movie.
Okay.
Like "Ain't My Type of Hype." When you hear "Ain't My Type of Hype," you automatically think of House Party, but it's not
Was
the
there a
theme
theme
song
song
of
for
House Party.
House Party though?
I don't know if there was, but "Ain't My
I'd
Type of
have to
Hype"
look
is
at
the
the
song you
soundtrack.
think about when you think about House Party.
Ain't my
You hear
type
"Ain't
of
My Type
hype.
of Hype," you're in House Party doing a kid and play. It's what it is, you know. So there's songs that automatically come to your mind. Like when I hear "At Last," I'll be honest with you, I think of Pleasantville.
Oh yes, At Last. That does remind me of Pleasantville.
When I think of
And
"At Last," I think of Pleasantville. You know, I
definitely.
mean, and it's a better thought because that was my first dance at my wedding, and I'd rather not think of that. So, because I'm divorced,
So
but
Pleasantville is a better thought. Oh, I
Pleasantville.
love that movie. That's a good
Yeah, I
movie.
love Pleasantville. Yeah,
Pleasantville
Pleasantville's
is
a great
excellent.
movie. I
Okay.
love Pleasantville.
Thank you. He knows I need prayer. Cause
Rick, why you selling me out, Rick? I don't understand.
just bless me and bless his heart. Okay.
We was boys, Rick. Come on, man. Class of '84, Rick. Come on. What are
Listen,
you doing?
as we wind it down, we thank you for joining us here on the interwebs. It's kathyandkenny.com to check out more. And we are here every Sunday night.
I'm making a song about how my boy Rick dissed me on live. This my boy Rick. This my boy Rick. This my boy Rick. Okay.
Yeah, I need prayer. Prayer for me, prayer for my brother. Anyway, as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture. See you
God
next
bless your soul
week.
and keep living. Peace.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies,
Thank you for
so
geeking
bright.
out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and
Join
Kenny
us for
Explain
a
Pop
blast
Culture.
tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow.